Hello, this is Mike, NoStressMike.com. It's funny, I don't know if it was on YouTube or somebody told me or whatever, I forgot. But what they told me was humans think with emotions and logic. And there's a whole bunch more. They said a whole bunch more. Like I say, my memory's not real good. So, but I remember those were the first two things. And they mentioned that women think with emotions first, and then they use logic. And men think logic, and then they use their emotions. And so that's been bouncing around my brain. I've been thinking on that, trying to figure out exactly what that means. And for one thing, like I say, I was married 41 years. We didn't have a competition, my wife and I. It didn't make any difference what it was. It wasn't a competition. I mean, well, the first thing we got married, and at one time, right after we got married, she started to work. And she was a good worker. And I'm a good worker. And we both had jobs. And it just didn't seem right to me. And then what I decided, because, we were Chinese culture, I was the head of the household. And good or bad at all was I got the blame for it. Good or bad, whatever happened in the household, I got the blame for it. So if that's the case, I had to make decisions. And we didn't, like I say, we didn't compete against each other. But I noticed on the work, when we both had jobs, I could see where it could get to be competitive. And so I said, no, we're not going to do that no more. Yes, we could use the income, but no, we're not going to do it. The relationship was more important than the money was. And so after that, like I say, we were, I don't even want to say partners, but we really were. We were partners in all the businesses that I've had. And the reason I don't want to say partners, because I drug her into a lot of stuff that she didn't want to do. And different businesses that she didn't want to get involved in, but she did it, because she's my wife. And she had, and when I'm thinking about it, and the reason was she had the emotional tie with me. The emotions is what kept her working with me no matter what businesses that I went into. And she would do good on whatever business we went into. And so, and why is because it was the emotions. And to me, it was logically, it was the right thing to do. I mean, there was no, you don't think about it. I mean, it was the right thing to do. And so, and I've had, like I say, mostly I've had restaurants. Most of my employees have been females. I say when I was in the oil business, they were all males. But in restaurants, and we had some males, but most of the time they were females. And I've said, I told the story about what I believe when my God created people, He created man first. And then after he created man, he stood back and goes, "Wow, man, I do good work." And he was so proud of himself. And he kept looking at the man, and he says, "I think I can do better." So he created woman. And after he created woman, she could, she was smarter than him. She could multitask. She could do lots of things much, much better. She could take responsibility better. She could do a lot of things better. And then it ended up, she just kept bossing this guy around. she would just tell him what to do. I mean, because she was so much more capable, she would have him do all this stuff. And I mean, she really took charge. And then God goes, "Oh man, what did I create?" So then what he did is, bam, he hit her with emotions. Now, the emotions is the part that she could still have all of her strength. She could still do all the good stuff, but the emotions change things. And that's why when I heard, I've been thinking that for a long time. And because, like I say, my wife, she was so much more superior than I was. And but I could see the one thing was the emotions. But what kept her emotionally stable was me. Whenever she would start getting emotionally unstable, I could comfort her. I could help her get through all these kind of situations. But it only worked for her. And why? She had that emotional tie to me. And I had the emotional tie to her, but it was second to the logic. I mean, the realistic stuff. I had to deal with realistic things. I had to think ahead. I had to be realistic. I couldn't let my emotions rule my life. She could. And why could she let her emotions rule her life? Because she had me, somebody she could trust and depend on to keep her emotionally stable. And I needed her the same. So there's no competition on this thing. And this is where I think a lot of people get things messed up when I say I don't believe in equal rights. I believe the man being a man, the woman being a woman. Now, and like I say, I'm still trying to reason all this. Use logic, trying to figure all this stuff out. And that's why when I'm starting to look at other women, nothing makes sense. And that's because they're all so emotionally in another world. And that's literally, they are emotionally in another world. They really see things a lot different, and that's because they're looking through their emotions. They are emotionally unstable. But if they stay where they're at, they feel that they are emotionally stable. That's what they feel like. And so that's why it's difficult for women to use logic to see what is really best for them. Because like I say, they've got no man to bring them to reality. And it's the same thing when I see men. A lot of them have been emotionally weakened because they haven't had a woman that would be caring for them, that would give them the emotional support that they needed. And like I say, I knew all this was going to happen after I lost my wife. It's been almost 4 years now. And I knew it was going to happen, that I would get used to this. I didn't know what getting used to meant, but I knew I would get used to not having her. And it has really limited what the part that I've got used to is now I don't get as much done now as what I used to. I used to get a lot of stuff accomplished all the time. Now I've been looking at what I've been doing for these past 4 years, and a lot of it has been repetitive. I've been doing kind of the same old stuff all the time, and that's not emotionally healthy. And so, and that's what women do. They're emotionally doing the same thing over and over again. And but anyway, it's not healthy when men are stuck in this emotional trap. It's like it's not healthy for a woman to be caught in an emotional trap. And logic is not. Logic and reality is not all that good. You need a mixture of logic and emotions. The emotions is what gives the reality substance. When you don't have oh man, this is deep. But I've noticed when I see the reality, it's the same reality I had to face before, but it's different when I don't have someone to share it with. And it's different when I don't get a different point of view, not in the way of competitiveness. Someone that is really truly thoughtful towards the other. That's the part of the relationship. So, and that's why it's a good thing when you have a logic and you have emotions, two different things, and then you mix them together, and that's what makes it good. So instead of looking at it, like I say, like competition, it's not. It should be teamwork. And it's been really apparent now, because like I say, now I see more women than what I ever had on a personal level. And I see more men on a personal level also. And I can see it's not that good. I'd much rather stayed with married friends and my own woman, someone that I could care for and that would care for me. So it's been a little different. Anyway, I just thought I'd share my thoughts. This is Mike. NoStressMike.com.